So, did not see the turn of events that happened at this Raw. First of all, hey, yo, I was like, Triple H was like, hey, y'all been talking all this shit this past week or so like that. I don't need y'all to a little bit of hold my beer. Because I was like, also, why is Raw just so much better than SmackDown? Like, we're going to have to see how SmackDown does this week, with Cody and all the other stuff. But I was like, Raw always sort of like they ain't really ever dull moment on Raw. But anyway, to the big story of it, of IYO Sky winning the championship, I did not see that at all. And like, I don't actually like it called me off guard. But I was like, also once I seen them say, I was like, IYO Sky's undefeated against Rhea. I'm like, they're gonna try to keep that streak. Cause WWE, how they do with the records, with the titles and certain things. I was like, they do try to keep certain things going, especially for something like this. It tells everybody, but it's also for the people that sort of keeps up with it in a certain way, because I was like, hey, I would like most people doing this, some form of nerd or whatever like that. So these kind of stats, if somebody got it logged in that's like, Rhea never beat IYO before, or whatever, even if it's only twice. Just like how after a while people started realizing Bianca had a winning streak at WrestleMania. It's stuff like that where it's just like, oh no, this is gonna play into the thing. This ain't gonna be. I was like, it ain't gonna be the shocker we think it's gonna be in that type of way. So the match happens, and I was like, IYO and Rhea are really good at wrestling. I was like, IYO is probably one of the better actually wrestlers on the roster. But I was like, especially among the women's division, I was like, she is in that especially of the current. It's her, Rhea, and Bianca. That's who the three sort of is of this new wave. Women after the Horsemen and Asuka. That's just sort of what it is. But I was like, it was a really good match to where it's like you did not know who was going to win outside of some just regular booking of WWE. And so outside of that, I was like, if you just didn't really know too much better, I was like, you would have thought that you would have just been like, oh man, I don't know who's gonna win here. But considering Rhea just only had that, I was like, what, 2 months now? I was like, we're only 5 weeks away from WrestleMania. I didn't see it coming. And while I do think people will probably nitpick of the way Rhea sort of went out a little bit of her element to go at Bianca for being like, oh, you cheering IYO, you don't want to face me, which was kind of a little bit off of a little bit of what she is. And she even pointed out that she was basically calling it stupid. I don't know, after the match when she was on the outside of the ring. I was like, their setup, and I was like I said before, I was like, I haven't really heard too many people talk about because they've been like, oh, there had been nothing setting up Rhea and Bianca, and I was like, that's not true. It hadn't been big, it hadn't been major, but I was like, once they started all that stuff near War Games, was really sort of the little you could sort of see the button heads of the 2 top women in the on that side of the sport. So it sort of does make a little bit of sense of that little bit of jostling amongst each other while she's over here being you're weak and all this other stuff. I also give a shout out to the basically that they did not call a DQ or whatever. The ref just pretty much got in and separated. Because I thought as soon as Bianca push the hell out of Rhea and stuff like that, I was like, oh man, they're about to call a DQ off of this, aren't they? And they didn't, which I'm glad about, because I was like, if she would have actually hit her or something like that, but I was like, I think in this situation, it's just a little tussle. It's fine. They ain't really doing anything. It's cool. I was like, they let it go ahead and play. I'm down with that. And IYO was able to take advantage, and that way it sort of make it look a little bit clean for Rhea and whatnot. And now it's going to be IYO and Bianca. I don't have any asterisks on some of these quotations at WrestleMania. I thought this actually before this match, and it was sort of the thought I had that if it would have been Liv that won the chamber, that they were going to do a triple threat. because Liv is being, I was like EO's beating Liv. I was like Liv beating Rhea's beating Liv. So it's like they all sort of got one up on each other. Now I still don't think that it's going to be. I think they're going to try to do the Becky, Ronda, Charlotte thing again. I think that's what they're going to try to do. I think they're going to try a triple threat this match. Because like I said, they're the three biggest stars, especially in the women's division. But I was like, but really kind of right now, because I was like, if you probably did 20 stars, I was like in WWE right now. They're probably within the top 15 at least. I was like, I could think of I was like, at least off the top of my head, I was like, they probably top 15, and you probably are getting at least Becky. I was like, you getting Rhea at least in top 10. So, but anyway, just because I was like, the way that sort of finished or whatever, I was like, the big thing is still, I feel like Rhea and Bianca, and I felt like I wouldn't be surprised to do a three-way with it, but I also think that this is also a thing of when if they don't do that, then it's the bill for next year, where just like they have done just enough to get on each other's nerves, and they're just gonna just have minor slights throughout the whole year until we get something big or whatever like that. Because I was like, their arguments that they was having out there really seemed like, oh, you don't want to fight me because you ain't trying to see who's the best. Oh, you being weak here and stuff like that. There really is a position of who was like the baddest woman right here, and I was like, that's enough to sort of have a match. Then people think. I was like, in this situation, you don't need the crazy convoluted story or whatever like that. Plus, she got all her other stuff with Jay and all that, so we got to see how that goes. But I was like, it was a really good match. I was like, I still, if it's EO and Bianca, I was like, then that's fine as well too. Cause I was like, I think EO's also have gotten. I was like, I think they also have traded. Cause I was like, EO beat Bianca in a singles match, but I think they've always beaten them in tag team matches. And one of them was, I think, a disqualification. So, to be honest, EO's also done have, like, Bianca's number a couple times as well, too. I was like, going back to NXT days, I was like, that one sort of, I was like, I don't remember them that much over there. I remember, like, Bianca and Rhea, and I was like, Rhea won. But I was like, I don't know if EO got on that situation. Either way, I think they're going to try to get for a triple threat here. Which, I was like, on top of all the other stuff on WWE they're setting up. Also, what I was surprised about, not only other the other championship matches, but also what we got set up for next week. But let's go ahead and just talk about the fact that I was like, I did not know that we was getting Lyra versus Ivy Niles this week, to be honest. It didn't seem like that at all. I thought we were just getting the Creed brothers versus the War Raiders. But I was like, they went ahead, had Lyra beat Ivy, and I thought this was also a really good showing of also Lyra being a lot more pissed off. I was like, she did a good job selling her knee and stuff. But I was like, it was a really good job because she really was going at Lyra and not just doing like, I'm a baby face. It was kind of like, okay, I'm getting tired of your shit. And she was just basically attacking Ivy now for the whole part. She won and she beat Ivy, which if this was later on, I would have been like, Ivy Niles might be able to win the championship. But this early on, this is her second defense. Ivy was going to lose this one. And I was like, it's just shocking of how fast it was, to be honest. I just thought this was going to be a little bit later on. Because I was like, I know they're doing, they seem like they're doing the Intercontinental thing with Lyra, where it's just kind of like you're going to be a fighting champion. But I'm just like, well, who's for her next? She already got Dakota twice. Ivy, I don't think she's done, but what are you going to do with her right now? So I was like, I don't know what you necessarily do with her. Speaking of Intercontinental, I was like, we're getting Braun versus Finn. I feel like we're going to probably get that one, maybe not next week, but the week after that or whatever, because Braun had also not, I was like, was that for the Intercontinental Championship against Dom last week? Felt like it was, it sounded like they said it was, but I was like, I don't remember them being held up. Either way, yeah, I was like, I feel like he's wrestled. I was like, he hadn't put that title on. Like I feel like in like 2 months or whatever. So then I was like, it's still quasi of like what they gonna do with Braun at this juncture. I was like the Creed brother. I was like once Ivy lost, I figured the Creed brothers were gonna lose just because I feel like if they're going to put the gold on them, they're going to do it. I feel like they're going to do it all at the same time. Although I wouldn't have hated if the Creed brother would have won this one and Lyra would have lost because technically they got the 2 versus the 1 of the matches for the titles. I kind of did want the Creeds to win though, but I was like, I'm fine with the War Raiders having the titles. Only if, and which doesn't seem like we're going to get anytime soon, New Day is going to get them. New Day is still doing the thing with the LWO. Ray's back, so they're going to face Ray and Dragon Lee. New Day. This is not the hit. This is not really the. I don't want to be too picky on it because it's not the heel turn I wanted them to do. But at the same time, this is sort of the thing where it's like, well, you gotta have people to fight people for a good amount of time, build up feuds or storylines. In a way, we got the storyline with the New Day, and a root from it is the LWO and stuff. And which I understand, right? I think it's funny that Joaquin and Primo, or whatever his name is, had a tag team match, and now they're back to just doing whatever they was doing. We're getting Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio, which I understand they're the 2 big names of the team, but they're like making them a tag team constantly. When they actually got a tag team there, or New Day. But I was like, at some point this is all got to end, right? Yeah. Let's go to pretty much the main. I was like, no, we're gonna do one more. We're gonna do one more before I go to the main dish. Well, the second main dish. IYO WON was the main dish. The Jey Uso Gunther thing. All right, he done beat Otis. I was like, basically just choked out Otis. Fought Jay. Now it's like, what is next? Because I was like, see, Jay, when he could do a promo where he could just talk or whatever, just regular, I think so. A lot of times I just think he just winded half the damn time. But I was like, we're gonna have to see what Gunther sort of does, because especially right now, as John Cena has turned heel. On one hand, it's like, thank God, because it's like, cool, we got something to we could sink our teeth into. Because I was like, the Jay and Gunther thing, I was like, because that happened so early, I feel like that was going to sort of fizzle out. And we're sort of at the point where it's like, all right, what are they going to do in order to keep this juicy until we could get to where we need to go? So right now, do he just keep on beating the hell out of like some of the sorry people? Like, is he gonna fight? Like, well, he can't fight Carlito. They bad guys. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what there is for him to beat up next, or what him to get into, or whatever like that. Also, y'all gotta stop doing the damn what chance. Gunther even I was like, I don't like it when they do it to people who aren't really speaking the best of English, because that's like their third language. But Gunther's not even like somebody that you can't even understand, and every people are just like automatic, like what? And it's like, what is y'all problem? Come on now. But yeah, no, I was like, they're going to need something. Cause they keep on saying, so when you gonna fight Gunther in the main event at WrestleMania, and I'm over here like, I know his name is main event. I understand, but I'm gonna tell you right now. I put on to it. I was like, look, there's 3 matches that I'm pretty much thinking that is all that I was like, if you told me, I probably want over Jay and Gunther. I was like, I said Rhea and Bianca, but now it's like IYO and Bianca, especially they make it a triple team. I was like, the Seth Rollins Punk thing, which I was like, I'm gonna get into that whole thing, but I was like, I think we still want to do something at WrestleMania with them, or if they make it a triple threat. Also, I'd rather take it over this one as well. Man, I had another one, but I was like, I forgot it, and I'll take it over that one still. On top of that, they're gonna have to do something else, because I was like, this beat down. To me, he just need to beat Jay's ass. I just think that he just needs to beat Jay's ass, where it's just kind of like put him down. He said he's gonna make his life hell. This ain't really making his life super hell. He's not really beating down the people. Jay, you gotta start. He's acting like Jeff Hardy, where it's just like he comes out to his music, Gunther is still beating the hell out of whoever he is, the Zawa Gunther, and choking out Otis and Jey Uso. And I'm just like, yo, get your ass to the ring. Get your ass to the ring. You doing this over here. Too much. Bring your ass on. Anyway, let's go ahead and go to the Bon Appetit part. I know I didn't feel like talking about Penta or whatever like that. I don't even know what else is on the show other than that I might have missed. Nope, it's not important. Logan Paul AJ Styles, Karrion Kross. I was like, he got his hair blown out. He flat ironed it or something like that. Got a perm. Either way, talking about CM Punk and Seth Rollins. First of all, I like the whole promo of him doing basically a new a pipe bomb-ish type of situation where he's basically dogging out The Rock, dogging out Cena, then barely getting to Seth before, Seth comes out. Basically. So after calling The Rock and Cena basically two bald-headed frauds and whatnot, talking about, I should have known what you, Cena. I was like, that you've been a fraud this whole time. I was like, selling out your soul. I earned it the hard way. I try to give you the benefit of the doubt. Rock, basically, I was like, you a part diamond just because you over here doing stuff on TKO that make you like more important than all of us and all this other stuff. But pretty much Seth Rollins comes out. So when CM Punk heard that, he just started running toward dude. Seth didn't even look like he was even ready for it. Cause he still had his outfit. He was about to start doing his little dance. And he's like, oh, I gotta take off the money makers. And then it starts scrapping or whatever. Not even like fighting. It was really just like, they were just like, two 7-year-old boys basically just roughhousing and like on a playground and some sand. That's what they was really doing. They wasn't fighting that much. They were really just tussling on the ground as they just was trying to get separated. And we probably brawled. It felt like 10 minutes. They were probably in like 5 or 6 or whatever. And they were just going at each other. If CM Punk had longer hair, they'd be pulling each other's hair. But hey, it did its job. It was provocative. It gets the people going. And everybody just want to see this now. Now, we getting a steel cage match. And I was like, I do like steel cage matches. I was like, but when they say on commentary that they're like, oh, the steel cage, you can't escape. And it's like, well, there's 2 ways to escape or whatever. Now, I would like it if they sort of make it where like these two dudes can't escape or whatever. Side note, I want to also say that basically Xavier was... No, I was like, you know what? I'll just talk about it afterwards, breaking it up like how I just did. Sorry about that. Anyway, I got to think that Seth has got to get this one. Because to me, I'm like, they're going to have their match at WrestleMania. Like, unless, can Punk slide into a Cena and Cody match? Or would you even rather do that at that time? You probably don't even want to do that anymore. You probably want to be like, oh, Cena doing the heel thing, we're just going to leave that alone. So, who do he face at WrestleMania? If not for Seth Rollins. I was like, he can fight Logan on a regular ass episode of Raw or something like that. They're not. But you get what I'm saying. I was like, I think that is a match that's going to happen. But I was like, to me, that's not going to be a WrestleMania match. Because then what does Seth do? Who does Seth face? Like, so I was like, now if you get Seth and Roman, sure, okay, cool. But at the same time, I'm like, to me, if Seth get his lick back, then that's 1-1. You would think that they would try to take this to WrestleMania. And I was like, to me, it would be weird if they have CM Punk, Logan Paul at WrestleMania and say like Roman and Rollins. If that's even the case, we don't know what Roman's doing. So I was like, but to me, Seth got to get this one. Seth got to get this one because like hell, if Drew can tie it up, Seth got to. Otherwise, I was like, kind of look at that. I know Seth could lose all the time, but in this rivalry, if Seth keeps losing, then CM Punk ain't got no reason other than you just annoying the hell out of me. And Seth does a good job of that, of annoying the hell out of him. So we're gonna get a steel cage match next week. I was trying to say with the Kofi King, the New Day, Kofi King, Xavier Woods versus Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio is a tornado match. Also, I like the fact I did like them doing the tornado when they were doing the screen graphic. Made me think of Pokemon. I was like, Pidgeotto, Whirlwind. Anyway, I was like, we're going to get that. And I was like, oh man, I was like, Triple H over here like, yo, we about to go in the season. I can't get everybody in the car. We about to just ramp this up. We're going to put in stipulation matches. We're going to get the people what they want. We're going to get a title match. We about to do it all. So I was like, cool. Raw already looks pretty good. These 2.5 hours don't feel like nothing compared to the 3 hours of SmackDown. It's crazy. Anyway, went a little too long-winded with the video, but anyway, I was like, y'all think we're gonna get a triple threat of any of these? I feel like they're gonna do a lot of triple. I feel like they're gonna try not to, but I feel like we might get the triple threat of the women's if we don't get the Punk Rollins CM Punk thing. I mean Roman thing. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. How y'all feel about Raw? EO getting the title. Till then, peace. I'm out.